Hi guys, it's Heather, the Butterfly Effect Plant-Based Weight Loss. And this is part 2 of how to come back from a weight gain. If you haven't seen part 1, you might want to watch that one first. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up right where we left off, which was that you should respond in self-compassion and self-forgiveness. And that is really important. You know, as I said yesterday, you may be really upset with yourself. You may be suffering the consequences of your behavior. You may have health problems that you thought you were done with that reemerged, or maybe none of your clothes fit. Maybe you're embarrassed to be seen by friends and family or colleagues at work. All of these things can make you really have anger and turn it in towards yourself. But the thing is, you need that energy. You need to direct that energy and use all of that energy instead of being upset with yourself, which isn't going to accomplish anything except to make you feel worse. You can use that to power your recovery and your comeback. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do after you've, come to that place of forgiveness, remember it was just a wrong turn. You can go back anytime you want, like today is a great day to get back on track. It really is. Today is an awesome day to get back on track. And a lot of getting back on track is a mental exercise in addition to the actions you're going to take. So let's talk about the mental part of it first, getting back in the right mindset for this. You're going to determine your readiness, because you may not be ready to stop. And sometimes we have to just be honest with ourselves and say, I don't think I'm going to be ready until, Monday, or I don't think I'm going to be ready until these people go away. Or, if someone's visiting, or there may be reasons why you just don't feel ready yet. And that's okay. But what's really important is that you be really honest with yourself. Because what you don't want to do, what you absolutely want to avoid, is having a failed attempt at restarting, at coming back. So you really want to be ready. And you can take some steps to make that happen faster. It's, deciding that you really, truly want to change. And that might be going back to your original why. I talk about that a lot. Like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? They say that until the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change, we won't change, right? Because it takes a tremendous amount of effort to sustain a change, especially a change like this that involves changing your entire diet, how you shop, how you prepare meals, all those kinds of things, how you're going to celebrate holidays, how you're going to approach eating out or eating at someone's house. So this is a really pervasive change. And so you really have to examine if your why is strong enough. Some things can happen along the way. I'll give an example. When I started originally, one of my big whys was that I wanted to start dating again. I wanted to get out there and meet people. I hadn't dated in a really long time. You don't get a lot of calls for dates when you're over 400 pounds. And so I thought, I'll feel a lot more confident and I'll be ready to start seeing people again. Well, I got to the weight that I was hoping to get to, which was 132 at the time. And I realized I didn't really want to start dating at that time. I just wasn't ready. There was other stuff going on. And so it's almost like that why didn't pay off for me in the way that I thought it would. And so I had less incentive to stay there, because that had been a big motivating factor. It's a little bit embarrassing to say that, but not all of your motivating factors have to make a lot of sense. For instance, I know somebody that had a motivating factor of wanting to look great in her daughter's wedding photos. So the wedding came and she looked great in the wedding photos. She achieved her goal. But then she had no like wedding coming up to help her stay on track. And so she relaxed. You hear that a lot with brides themselves. You know, they want to look great for their wedding, and then they get married and they're happy and they're adjusting and they have so much on their plate, and they don't have the same incentive. So then the weight wants to come back. So you have to really examine all of your whys. And, you know, when it comes to your motivation, there's no right or wrong answer. I always go back to 3 things. One is that, a really strong one, is that I promised my mom that I would take care of myself. And I feel like in making that promise and in keeping that promise, I took away the possibility for me to stop trying. That's no longer possible for me. I have to keep trying, you know, no matter how many attempts that takes. And that's great to have that attitude that no matter what happens, no matter how many bumps in the road we hit, we're never going to stop trying. Because Churchill said, you know, success isn't final, failure isn't fatal. You have to just get back up and start again. I'm paraphrasing his quote, but it's a good thing to remember. Like, on this journey of health, there is no there. You're not going to arrive and be like, I'm at health, yay. You're always going to be like moving along that journey, and then you're going to be trying to maintain it once you get there. So just realize that there's no failure if you never stop trying. There's no failure, okay? And then my second why was that I didn't want my kids to have to take care of me. Now, this is a strong motivator. I want to be healthy and strong into my old age, and I want to be fit and able to play with my grandkids. And more than that, I don't want my kids to have to take care of me. You know, that's not the life I want for them. And I definitely don't want to be in a nursing home or, you know, incapacitated in some way. And, you know, a lot of us have seen people in their lives that they really love that have gone through that, and we just say, no, you know, that's not what my mom would want for me. She had a really hard time at the end. My dad had a really hard time at the end, and that's not what they would want for me. And I know better, and so I have a responsibility, I think, to do better. And then the last one for me is just really personal, and you may have one like this or not, but, you know, I actually, in my spiritual walk with God, I made some promises, you know, I asked, as one does, like in a 12-step, I asked for the compulsion to be removed. And, you know, I feel like Holy Spirit gets me through every single day of this. And so I have made some promises to God to abstain from some things. And it's really important to me that I keep my promises. Now, of course, that's really personal to me. But if you do have that kind of spiritual power in your life, if you do have help from a higher power, that can be a really big motivator as well. Just wanting to keep that promise. So after you've determined if your why is big enough, I want you to think about when you were doing well. Again, we're working on the mindset. Think about when you were doing well. Really, really picture it, like go back there in your mind, and this could take a while to really get back in that mind frame. You know, what were you eating? Who were you hanging out with? What were you reading? What YouTube videos were you watching? What was your routine? How much sleep were you getting? All of these things. How focused were you? How excited were you? What goals did you have at that time? What were you moving toward? All of this is really important. And the thing about remembering your success is it's absolute proof that you are capable of doing this, because when we have regained some weight and then we tried a few times maybe to get back on track and it didn't happen right away, we can start to doubt ourselves. It can really shake our confidence. And you can think that I'm never going to be able to do this. I apparently am broken now. I can't get back. I thought I could. You know, I had that thing, that time, and I thought that I could get right back on, and man, I can't get right back on, you know. And you might think that you can't do it, or you might doubt your ability, but the very fact that you regained some weight means that you took that weight off in the first place. And because you could do it before, you can do it again. You know, you just have to recreate all of the circumstances that caused you to be successful in the beginning. So what were the habits that you had that were resulting in success for you? I'm just going to read these. What specifically were you eating? Go ahead and write down what you were eating for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for snacks if you were having them. How were you planning? Were you writing things down? They say that you'll have 11% more better results if you do write down and track. What kind of exercise or movement were you doing? What was your mindset? And how did you respond to triggers to eat off plan? For instance, if somebody invited you to go out for dessert, or if somebody said, I made this something for you, how did you respond to those? Okay, so using the info about what worked for you before, create a plan that will be an end state that you'll work toward. And be very clear in your plan what you will have and what you won't have. You can't have anything squishy, at least for a determined period of time, okay? So you guys know mine is no animal products and no sofas. No sugar, no oil, no flour, no alcohol. And because I'm so clear about all of those things, I don't have any problem recognizing when something is off my plan. That's really important. You don't want to vacillate or waffle or think, maybe I could have it, maybe I couldn't. So really get clear on what you're going to have or what kind of plan you're going to follow. And I really do think that having a structure of a plan is going to help you, because it was, you know, it's following the same path that other people are following, and then that gives you a tribe and gives you support. I know that that's been hugely important in my journey. Set a length of time. This is something I haven't done in the past, but based on the research done at Stanford University by B.J. Fogg and his team, it really increases your success. So, you know, set a length of time. A good length of time might be 21 days or 30 days, or long enough that you can have some time to get past the initial cravings and all that kind of stuff. But you want to set that length of time and then reevaluate, because what they're finding in this research that's making me change my mind is that people do not succeed because of motivation. People succeed because of habits. So you want the period of time long enough to build those habits. And then people succeed because of momentum. It's momentum instead of motivation. So having a small win leads to a bigger win. Having one day perfectly on plan, or, you know, meeting all your criteria, whatever those are, is going to make it much easier and more, you know, make you feel much more confident and capable, and impress your internal audience a lot more than just being motivated or hearing how someone else did it. Okay. Let's see. You may have, let's see. So it's just like also a chance to declare a success. You know, yay, I did that 30 days. I'm on, let's go for 60 days. Okay. All right. So I did put in here that you might need some interim steps. Okay. So let's say I used the example yesterday of you were a raw vegan and now you went all the way back to eating fast food or eating lots of processed food that isn't even vegan, or you really had a big fall. Okay, so you may need an interim step. You may need to say, just be vegan. Just be vegan, and make that make that goal a little closer to your reach. Okay, because sometimes trying to go back to an unreachable goal is not going to be serving you. You really want that win. You need that win so you can have that momentum. So be really honest with yourself. If you feel like, yes, I'm ready to just go right back in, and there are all or none people that really do better if they go all in, then I would say go for it. But if you need an interim step, there's no shame in the game. There's just getting back on track and getting, starting to get that weight back off. And if you had gone all the way back to a SAD type of diet, a standard American diet, and you end up just having like an interim step, like just be vegan, including maybe junk food vegan, or including things that you normally wouldn't include, you're still going to be healthier. You're still going to be healthier, and you might even take off some weight, and you're definitely going to be like, your head will be back in the game, and you'll have that win that'll help you. Okay. So this is my little acronym that helps me remember EIEIO. EIEIO, like Old MacDonald had a farm. But EIO means edge it out. So rather than focusing on what you don't want to eat, make sure that you're getting what you do want to eat. So they say what you resist persists. So you want to keep 100% of your focus on getting in the good stuff. A goal might be the starch targets that Dr. Doug Lisle recommends, which goes vegetables, starch, fruit, and exercise. And as long as you get in vegetables, 3 starches, some fruit, and some exercise, you have met your targets for the day. And then the nice thing about that is you're going to be full and satisfied, and you're going to be getting nutrients, and so that is going to make it a lot easier to resist things that you do want to say no to. For me, I always say I'm definitely going to have some G-bombs, right? I'm definitely going to have greens, beans, onions and garlic, mushrooms, berries, and like flax seeds, some seeds. I make sure I get those every single day. And that usually to me just means a big salad. And in making sure that I get those things, it is a good way of edging everything out, because after I eat my ginormous beautiful salad and have my beans and my fruit and all of the things that I'm focusing on, I don't have much room for the other stuff. And also my internal audience is saying, hey, you are doing awesome today, and it helps me to stay on track. Okay. All right. My final tips are take away the means to relapse. For instance, take all the junk food out of your environment to the best of your ability. Now, I said to the best of your ability because sometimes people live with other people, or they have to go to work and they might be exposed to stuff at work. But you be very honest with yourself. To the extent that you can have a clean environment, clean it up. Okay? And then remember that the most important environment is the one between your ears, that you have a no matter what attitude, that you have as we said before, you have that really clear list in your mind of what you do eat and what you don't eat. And then you just put your blinders on when you go out into the world, because of course, like I said, we're trying to live clean in a dirty world. One thing that is some people think is kind of extreme is don't take any money with you. I did this for a long time when I was feeling really compulsive and the urge was really strong to go off my plan all the time, but I really wanted to stay on. I would bring all the food I would need for the day. I would make sure that the car was gassed up, and then I would go out without any money and no cards or no way to get any money, and go to work and then come home. And that can sound extreme, but there are some of you that are nodding your heads that yes, it does work. It definitely does work. I have a friend who has to go on the freeway to go, a couple hours to see parents, and she does this, and she's really successful. She's doing a great job. She just doesn't bring the money with her, and then she doesn't have the temptation. Another thing I have is do not buy treats for other people. Do not buy like treats or things that you don't eat. Don't supply them to other people. don't give food as a gift. The reason why is it can be your internal addict saying, you know, I want these. Or even if you don't have it yourself, because it's going to tempt you, but even if you don't eat it yourself, you're going to feel sorry for yourself because it's the thing that you wanted. And so that's just a bad idea. Brush your teeth right after dinner to stop night eating. And do other things like when you get home, immediately put on your pajamas and get comfortable so that it'll be really inconvenient to go back out and to get junk. And when you drive, do not drive past junk, or at least past places that you specifically went, because that can be a trigger. So we want to avoid those triggers. Really quick, be realistic that you're probably going to go through some cravings. Be prepared for them and eat extra portions of healthy food if you have to help you get through those cravings. Don't expect weight loss at first. Make your goal just to be acquiring the habits again. You know, it's a process goal. Your job is to do the things that lead to the weight loss, and then the weight loss will happen as it's going to happen. And that's because you do have control over what you do, but you don't have control over how your body responds to it. So make your goal be acquiring those habits again that served you before. I say arm yourself with greens. I always say first thing greens. I have greens first thing in the morning because they contain some compounds called thiacaloids that some studies have shown can cut your cravings for sugar and for junk food by 80 to 95%. So greens are very powerful. You can also use green powders like Vitamineral Green. And you can use essential oils, like for instance, clove oil, taking a big whiff of clove oil when you're really tempted, like in the moment, or if you're smelling something that's tempting you. Like if I went to the mall and I smelled something baking and it was tempting me, I could take a whiff of my clove oil and then that would help keep that trigger away. Get accountability. This is something that was really important to me. There are different ways to be accountable. You can ask for an accountability partner, which is great, and we could talk about that. But also you can just announce your plans on a Facebook group like the Butterfly Effect and ask who wants to join with you, who wants to be accountable with you. You could start a club or a game at work, you know, like a Biggest Loser game or something. You could join a group like Weight Watchers or Tops. You don't have to do their program. You could do your own program, but just join that group so that you have to weigh in regularly. Get an accountability partner if you will be 100% honest with them. It's not going to work if you are in any way tempted to cheat on that, okay? So you could plan your food the night before and send it to your accountability partner, or you could take photos of your food and send that to them. And if you didn't have a partner, you could always do that again in my group, the Butterfly Effect. You're welcome to join if you're not a member, and that could be a great way to have accountability. Okay, so just a final word: be persistent. Never give up. Know that you are worth it. Absolutely know that you are worth it. And know that you may have a couple false starts before you completely get it right. You may need a day or two to clear out all of your environments, because we all have multiple environments. And, you know, just realize, say in the beginning, start out with that mindset: no matter what happens, I'm doing this, I'm worth it, I can get there, I believe in myself, I've done it before, and I'm gonna do it again. And say that to yourself as many times as necessary. And make that list of the things you'll do, and then don't go to bed that night until you check off that you've done all of them. And make it really a realistic list so that you get to sleep, because sleep is important too, right? And then finally, I'm just gonna say, go for day one. Have one good day. Have one good day where you stay on plan. Pick your day and go for it. And then every day you can build on that success and you can come back from it. We can all come back. It's not too late. As long as you're breathing in and breathing out and you're looking down at the dirt instead of looking up at it, There's still hope for you, and you can do this. I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care how many pounds there are that need to take a hike. You can do this. You know, when I started out, I was over 400 pounds on my 5'1" frame. I did it. I had a little relapse. I'm doing it again, and I'm gonna get there. And I want you to join me. I want you to be successful. I love you guys. Give me some comments if there's anything I missed. Do you have advice for other people? Help them out. And again, if you want to join the Butterfly Effect on Facebook, it's the Butterfly Effect Plant-Based Transformation. Shoot me a request and I will add you to the group. Love you guys and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.